Hi guys, this is Ranjit and welcome to the Tech Q&A session where I'll be answering some of your tech related questions, and this is the August 2021 edition, and I'll be answering a bunch of questions just not related to smartphones but other stuff also. So let's stay tuned. And the first question I got is from Amit. He's asking, my question is, how big smartphone brands release a product having basic issues such as proximity sensor? I wonder what their testing units are doing, especially in this tech era. Isn't it the same as eating half-cooked biryani in a reputed restaurant? Yes, Amit, I get your point. This has been happening lately a lot this year, especially in a lot of mid-range smartphones. For example, what was that? Redmi Note 10 series, most of them had that proximity sensor issues. Even the Mi phones and some of the not Realme, some other brands also had it. And I also find it very silly when reviewers like us, within a day of usage, find out these flaws, and other users also report. I don't know what's their testing team doing, or is their testing team getting some special units that are different from what are the production units. So this is an issue, and we did face a lot of proximity sensor issue, especially this year. For example, one of the OnePlus phones also had a little bit. It was not as bad as the Redmi phones, but it had. So I hope instead of just gimmicks and hyping up the features, they get the basics right. I still feel a smartphone, though it may be a foldable or whatever, first thing is use it for taking calls. So how's the experience? And if the proximity sensor is junk, the entire experience goes for a toss. So I hope we don't see this trend moving forward. But yeah, quality control is a big issue, especially in mid-range smartphones. Next is by ZGod. He's asking, does company do gimmick by providing cheap quality of AMOLED screens for mid-range phones? Because I've seen Xiaomi and Mi AMOLED screens are not that good compared to Samsung or even Realme, Vivo, Oppo AMOLED screens. Yes, I would say not all AMOLED screens are the same. That's a myth, and I think so. We as Indians just love specs on paper. We don't look at the actual reality. There are various kinds of AMOLED screen. One might be better than the other. For example, recently I even said in my OnePlus Nord 2 review where I told the screen quality, though it's an AMOLED screen, it's a 30,000 phone, the Poco GT screen was better. In fact, the Moto, this is the Fusion, not the Edge, the Fusion's screen is also better. So again, the quality of AMOLED screen matters quite a bit. Generally, Samsung puts the best quality screens because these guys are the ones who are actually supplying most of the AMOLED panels. LG also does it. But for example, yes, if you just see the specs of AMOLED screen, just don't get fooled by it because the quality is a little bit different, I would say. And yes, I've seen in some of the Xiaomi phones, even some of the Nord mid-range phones, that the AMOLED screen is not. Big surprise for me was that I was very skeptical about Motorola because Motorola with the Edge series, this is the Fusion that's for 21,500, are coming with AMOLED screen. So I thought they might do that cost cutting in the AMOLED screen, but glad to see they didn't do that. And clearly you can see if it's a good AMOLED screen and an average one, put the same picture side by side, you will actually notice the difference. And yes, this is a 10-bit one. Most of the budget ones are going with the 8-bit panel. So again, just seeing the specs, don't get whoa. It's like, okay, all cars are cars. All cars have 4 wheels and stuff, but there is a difference, you right? No? So yes, there is a difference in the AMOLED screens also. So, and I would say a big difference in mid-range smartphones in AMOLED screen is that, yes, there is that color difference. Is there a little bit tint? And second thing is how bright they can go. And here I would say I won't blame Redmi, Mi, etc. or even Nord mid-range phones. They simply don't get that bright in outdoor direct lighting. That's where the flagship Android smartphones, these go very, very bright. So there is definitely a difference. You simply cannot compare a 25,000 or a 20,000 rupees smartphone's AMOLED screen to a phone that is costing twice or more. You will notice that difference. Anyways, let's move to the next one. And again, but they should put quality controls in that. But we as Indians just love specs, not the actual result and the product. We fight based on specs. That's the irony. This is by Ajin. Again, okay, why Indians are always considering the skinned UI rather than a pure stock Android phone, and why these main smartphone ventures are not even trying a single stock Android smartphone other than Moto. Is only ad revenue is the reason? Comments. Yes, again, as I've told you, we go by raw specs, and specifically, if a brand is just giving a stock Android skin, a stock UI like Motorola and stuff, they can't add a lot of their own stuff. And lately, in mid-range smartphones, even Samsung, if you take it, forget about Xiaomi, Realme, etc., they have been doing all this for a long time. Now, these mid-range smartphones are getting a little bit of ad revenue via the ads that they insert, via the bloatware pre-installed apps that they do. So if a brand is going to give a stock Android experience, they lose on that revenue. So that's the reason you simply don't get stock Android smartphones anymore. And even if you're getting it, these are actually on the higher price. Luckily, Motorola is still giving, and I'm pretty impressed with this Moto Edge 20 Fusion. Almost finished my testing, so we'll be posting the review of this one also very soon. So stay tuned for the channel. In fact, much better than I expected. Anyways, let's move to the next one. And I hope this ad revenue, what they are doing with the mid-range smartphones, stop, because I know most of the users are annoyed. I am actually annoyed. Whenever I'm reviewing any mid-range smartphones, half of the time I have to spend removing junkware, how to disable ads and stuff. So it's going to a crazy point now. I just hope these OEMs realize that, yes, there is a limit, and I think so these guys are exceeding that limit now. This is by Aaron. What do you think about the pricing of the M52? I think so you mean Samsung Galaxy M52. I'm planning to buy the new phone at 25,000. Should I go with the Realme X7 Max or wait for the other? I want a super value phone. The Galaxy M52 hasn't been announced yet, but there are rumors that it might launch next month. And from the leaked specs, it's having the Snapdragon 778 SoC, guys. And if you see some of the other phones, for example, the Realme Master GT that has the Snapdragon 778 starts at 28,000. The Motorola Edge 20 that has the Snapdragon 778 starts at 30,000. And we know Samsung always charges a little bit more higher premium. So I don't think so this phone will be around 25. In fact, I think so it will be around 30,000 or something like that. So yeah, if you are expecting it to be 25, to be frank, I don't think so it will be around 25. I feel it will be closer to 31,000 or something like that. But if you want just value for money, the Realme X7 Max is pretty good. I have already posted its review. But again, watch the review. There are some ads and bloatware, you can disable it. But I feel I don't know right now what's the price, but initially a couple of weeks ago in the sale, it was almost for about 25,000. And for that price, it's good. Yes, the camera are okay. You don't get a perfect one. Watch my review, guys. But for that price point, I feel it's a decent one. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Rahul. Now that Samsung has understood its mistake and moving to add free software for premium or premium mid-range phones, can we expect price cuts or moreover better specs for what it offers in the budget phones next year to beat Xiaomi? Rahul, I don't think so Samsung is going to actually decrease the price of the mid-range smartphone. If you notice, this year onwards, in fact, they have started increasing the price of most of their mid-range smartphones. In fact, until last year, you could get some decent mid-range smartphones from Samsung under 20,000. But this year, that's not the case. In fact, the price has increased quite a bit. And now they disable the ads even in the mid-range. They haven't said that. They only hinted they might be doing it in their flagships. But if they do that in the mid-range smartphones, they were earning some portion from that ads. Now, if that is gone, I think so to compensate that, they might further increase the pricing, because that's the trend that I'm seeing with Samsung mid-range smartphones. The price is increasing. It's not decreasing. If they decrease it, I'll be happy. But to be frank and blunt, I don't see that happening. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Vedant. Why many smartphone brands are opting for Mediatek instead of Snapdragon? Like OnePlus should have gone with the Snapdragon 780 instead of the Dimensity 1200. Mediatek chips do heat up a lot. This is the first time OnePlus is using Mediatek. Vedant, you are completely mistaken. Now this, Mediatek Dimensity series of chipsets are fabulous chipsets. That's the reason you are seeing a lot of OEMs actually going with that. For even the Motorola went with this Dimensity 800. In fact, in terms of power consumption, they are much better than Snapdragon's mid-range smartphone chips. And in fact, you guys don't know, the Dimensity chipsets are the only chipsets in 5G, that they offer 5G on both the SIMs. Most of the Qualcomm smartphones that have 5G is only enabled on one chip, one SIM. And in terms of power consumption, these Dimensity SoCs are much better. In fact, you'll be surprised how good battery life I'm getting consistently on most of the Dimensity smartphones I've tested. Now, even on this one, the Fusion, Moto Fusion, this is the Dimensity 800, and fabulous battery life. 9 hours with 2 days between charges. 8 hours, 9 hours SOT, and after 45 hours I have to charge. A fabulous battery life I'm getting. So you're mistaken. The new Dimensity range is a completely beast, and it's giving very tough competition to Qualcomm. And it's good because I can't name the brand names or whatever, but the top guys told me that Qualcomm was charging quite a bit of high premium with their Snapdragon chipsets. Now these OEMs, I think so, have a better alternative. That's why they have moved to Dimensity, and Dimensity chipsets are pretty good. But yeah, only con is that Dimensity chipsets, you won't get custom ROMs for it. If you're into the custom ROMs and stuff, then again, yeah, the Snapdragon Qualcomm counterparts are better. Okay, let's move to the next. This is by Bhavesh. What are your expectations from Apple in the folding phone technology? And what do you feel about the upcoming Tensor chip from Google? Will it be a game changer for Android as Apple M1 chip? I don't think so. It's going to be a huge game changer like the M1 chip. I would say the Google's Tensor chip. What we have heard is it's basically a modified Exynos chipset with some AI elements that Google is adding. So I'm also pretty interested to see what they do, but I don't think so it will be as revolutionary as the M1 chip. And moving to my expectations from Apple and the foldables, I don't have much expectations, and I don't think so this year we will see any foldable smartphone from Apple, nor this form factor, not this flip form factor or anything like that. So I just hope on the iPhones, Apple, because most of the iPhones now have an AMOLED screen, they at least enable the in-display fingerprint scanner. We are now almost in the second year of COVID, and looks like the situation is not going to change. So we are wearing masks, and that Face ID simply does not work. And Apple is still very stubborn, and they're not giving in-display fingerprint scanner, and we know in-display fingerprint scanners actually work, because rumors say that even the upcoming iPhone 13 won't have the in-display fingerprint scanner. So forget about the folding screens, just get the basics right, like what others are doing. So foldable screens, as of now, Apple, I don't expect that we're going to see it. I'll be very, very surprised if they do it. But Samsung, I'm very happy with this, and I've used every generation of Fold, and I'm seeing improvements in every generation. The screen now is fabulous. Now it's water resistant. I actually did not expect that they would be able to pull it off. So I feel Samsung is really innovating, and I'm looking forward to see what they will do with the Fold 4 next year series, because every generation we are seeing improvements in the screen quality. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Ahmed. Hey Ranjit, after the recent news of earphones and TW Blast, what are your thoughts about it? Which one do you feel is more safer between wired and wireless earphones? Don't ignore my question and pick my question for the Q&A. You guys know I prefer wired headphones, but the irony is that we are simply not getting the 3.5mm headphone jack. We do get it in some of the mid-range smartphones, but if you buy any slightly higher end phone, anything, this is the Poco, this is the Fold, etc., you will not have the 3.5mm headphone jack. So we have to rely on TWS. I would say TWS are safe. Yes, we had that blast issue, but that was a fake knockoff, I think so. So when you're buying TWS, don't buy it from like junk companies or buy those knockoffs, AirPod clones or stuff that you get on Chinese website. Those are very, very dangerous. But reputable ones are fine. But again, yes, that blast thing has created an issue, and I was going to actually test out some local stuff, but after seeing that I decided not to do it. So a little bit skeptical, but I have trust in these reputable companies. They do a lot of testing and stuff. Let's move to the next one. Did I take this? Let me just go Okay, yeah, this is an interesting. This is a broadband related question, so we'll take it. This is by Pojwardhar. Why are major broadband providers like JioFiber, Airtel, and Act just forcing their end users to use their proprietary ONT plus router boxes? Isn't that a huge invasion of privacy, as those boxes have locked firmware and can be remotely accessed and reset? Actually, yes, you are right. The reason they do it is they can remotely access it and reset it. For example, you and I as a power user, we know everything, but let's say your mom, pop, or someone is they're not that tech savvy, and they say internet is not working. These ISPs want to remotely log into the router and fix the issue or reset it and something. That's why they are forcing it. Yes, it's a irritant for us as power users, but I think so that is why they are doing it. Luckily, if you are using Airtel Fiber, you can actually, yes, you have to use their ONT, but at least for Wi-Fi, you can use a bridge connection, which is actually not possible with JioFiber. JioFiber does not allow bridging. Anyways, let's move to the next. This is by Claw. Why is Google being reluctant to launch the Pixel 5a in India? Even though India has been the best smartphone market, suggest me some smartphones from 30 to 35,000 non-Chinese one. Okay, first let me answer the question, why is Google not launching the Pixel 5a in India? If you notice, they launched the Pixel Buds, which I tweeted about it, and it's just lying over there. And if you notice, the Pixel Buds price in US is $99. But in India, what is the price? It's 10,000 rupees. So they're just, and I think so, it's not like Google is making a lot more money from India. The price is $99 in US, and I think so they're just importing it from US. And if we import now stuff in India, it is very, very expensive. So not only they have to pay that GST or whatever, 18% plus import tax. Hence, the price is increasing by about 25% or something like that. That's why. The Pixel 5a is what? It's $450 in US. Now, if we use the same conversion, that is almost 100 rupees per dollar, it will be priced at 45,000 in India if Google imports it and sells it in India. And do you think it will sell in India? What is that? Snapdragon. It's using the Snapdragon 765. That's the last gen SoC. At that price point, people will hate Google. We won't accept even Samsung with the Snapdragon 765 at 45,000. Forget about Google. And that's the reason I think so they decided not to just launch it in India, because it will be ridiculous pricing if they launch at that price point. And I don't think so this is going to be solved, because the only way Google can lower the price is start manufacturing in India. And the problem with Pixel smartphones in India is that they simply do not have that much of a volume so that a vendor does the production in India. So it's a cat and a mouse game that we have. And that is the reason I think so, I'll be very blunt, Google simply did not launch the Pixel 5a in India, because it would have been just too expensive at about 45,000. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Mohit. He's asking two questions. One, I do happen to get someone to get Pixel 5a for me from US. Will I be losing on specific features, or there'll be no? It should actually work. 4G should be working. 5G, I know the Pixel has quite a bit of bands, so we don't know the Indian 5G band. So hopefully it will work. 5G will also work. So you will not have a problem. But don't expect any warranty or support from Google India if you are getting the Pixel 5a. Second thing is, what's your opinion on the battery life of the Moto Edge 20 considering its display? Moto Edge 20, I did not start testing it, guys. I just started testing the Moto Edge Fusion. The Fusion has an excellent battery life. The Moto Edge 20 that I got was not the proper retail unit. So I actually have sent back that unit to Motorola, and I have asked them to send me a proper retail unit. And I simply did not get that till now. And just yesterday I got an email that my retail unit will take time. So I haven't actually started properly testing the Edge, but the Fusion, fabulous battery life. Just wait for the review of this one. Battery life was very surprising, and no wonder. It's Dimensity 800. It's a fabulous chip, just sips power. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is by Prabheet. He's asking, do you think it's worth spending rupees 70,000 or more for an Android, keeping in mind the long-term usage, consistent performance, and some older flagships of Android events are facing problems like the S20 series or the OnePlus 6 or 7 series? A very interesting questions. In fact, I do get a question like this quite a bit. And I would say, to be very blunt, if these days with most of the Android phones, if you're spending around 30 to max of 35,000, you're going to get almost 90% of the features. You just get that 10% extra stuff, and for that you might be paying double the cost. So it again depends on you, is that worth it for you? And this worth it is a very subjective question. I would say whatever the price of the phone is, maybe it's 70,000, 80,000 or a lakh or whatever, if you don't have any hesitation buying that phone at that price point, you don't have to take a EMI or take a loan, and you're just okay with the price, paying the full price, and you don't have a hiccup, then you can afford it. But what I have a problem is that many people try to buy flagship phones on EMIs and stuff. That is a problem. If you're buying that smartphone on an EMI or taking a loan for 2 years, that simply means you simply cannot afford a phone. I would say you can afford any phone if you can just blindly buy it at the full price, and again, it does not affect you. That way you can buy it, I would say. So that brings me to the point. But again, I would say you get 90% of the features for about 35,000 smartphones. It's just for the 10% features or the specialty features or something, you're paying that very high premium. So again, it depends. But again, people who are buying expensive smartphones on EMI and stuff, just double think, man, what are you guys doing? If you're buying it, need an EMI to buy a smartphone, that simply means you cannot afford that smartphone. Next question is from Samrat. What's your opinion on Realme entering laptop market? Also Xiaomi, which is there from last year. Are these reliable like HP, Lenovo, etc. Brands for 4 or 5 years? Yes, it's been interesting. Last year Xiaomi introduced their laptops. Now Realme is going to introduce it, and in a way I'm happy because that increase the competition in the laptop market. And lately what I have been noticing is that specifically HP and Dell, if you want really good laptops, I'm talking about good laptops that have good build quality, good screen quality and stuff, you simply don't have the good options. You have to spend above 70,000-80,000. Yes, you can get pretty average laptops from 50,000-60,000. So by Realme, Xiaomi, etc. are entering into this market, I hope it becomes a little bit more competitive, and that way everybody will benefit, I would say. Because what I've noticed in Windows laptops is that in that 50,000 price range, you might get a decent processor or whatever, but where they compromise is the actual screen quality and the build quality. So these are the two things that they get compromised, and if you don't want to compromise on that, then you have to spend quite a bit on the higher end. I hope that changes. Let's see what this Realme does. And by the way, many of you are asking me about the Realme laptop review. Guys, I haven't got that laptop. I just got that invite. I didn't get the laptop, and I don't think so I'll be getting that laptop this month. Hopefully, I should get it by next month. Let's see if I get it. I'll definitely try to actually review it. Okay, this is by Manan. He's asking, so what do you think about the new Motorola lineup coming up in the budget, flagship and mid-range, as they have the edge of stock Android, which is a rarity these days? Do you think they have a chance to make a comeback in the Indian market or not? Manan, yes, I am like very impressed with this Moto Edge series, both the Fusion and the regular Edge. Regular Edge I have to test a lot more, but Fusion. And I simply did not expect that Motorola will do something like this. If you recall, just about two and a half months ago, I had actually made a video on Motorola and Motorola analysis where I was disappointed with them with their mid-range smartphone. And I think so. Motorola has fixed all the issues that I had raised in that video. Watch that video. Generally, I get banned after making those videos. But this Edge range, wow. I actually had, I got, before seeing the specs like you, everything, before this handset was in my hand, I had this sort of expectation with Edge. Okay, you're doing a pretty decent job. But after using and testing it, it is like this, which rarely happens in the smartphone industry. So they have done a fabulous job, and I just hope they keep this momentum. Okay, you have released some 2 good products. Don't just go down, because we have seen some brands doing that. They create some 1 or 2 great products, then again they'll go back to their normal junk. So I am just keeping my fingers crossed, but at least this new Edge lineup is really good. And the AMOLED screen, wow man, wow. It's, if you get a chance, I don't know if it's on local stores where, just check out the screen, what they have given, the AMOLED screen. It's really good. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is by Nikhil. What are your views on the matter when companies are slowing down phones when coming up with new phones, and why mid-range starts stuttering and lagging after a certain point of time? Are these two correlating to each other? It's just the fact that we are now starting to notice it. Nikhil, this has happened quite a bit, and not only for mid-range brands, but even OnePlus, etc. If you know the OnePlus 7 smartphone, when it got the Android update, it actually crippled the device, and we have seen not only with the, what do you say, OnePlus, even Poco X2, it got the update, the camera went berserk, the performance got berserk. So this is a very, very sad trend that I'm seeing in the industry, specifically in the mid-range market. We see this a lot. Phone might work fine for a year or so, 1.5, but after that you get some software updates that degrade the performance of the overall phone, and it just becomes sluggish. And this I've noticed quite a bit, and I've seen reports from multiple users regarding this, and this is a very shitty practice, I would say. Just giving a lousy update that degrades the performance of the smartphone. But the sad thing is, this is actually happening, guys. So that's the reason I say, if you have a phone that's over a year old, don't just rush out whenever you get a new major OT update. Wait and see what is happening. Wait for 15 days. Okay, see what is the situation of that update, because many times these updates are actually slowing down or adding bugs to your smartphone. So it's not like the new updates are fixing things. Sometimes they're breaking things. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Vijay. What are your views on brands launching a smartphone and then increasing the price after its sales a bit, and they say it's due to tax? Vijay, this is, again, we have seen this a lot. This is Xiaomi is famous for this, the Redmi. In fact, Xiaomi, even other brands, etc., they launch multiple variants. Let's say they launch a smartphone with 8 gigabytes of RAM and even 12 gigabytes of RAM. And they'll also launch a one base variant with 6 gigabytes of RAM with 64 GB or 128 gigabytes of storage. But the sad thing is that that base storage version will simply not come to the market, or come after 2 months to the market with very limited quantities. So they can brag about this phone starts at XXXX price to make users excited about it. But these are sad gimmicks, and we know that the price increase is also happening after 2-3 months. So whatever price they make, that hoopla, honest pricing and all that rubbish, is just marketing gimmicks. Whenever companies do these marketing gimmicks, I would say fans and stuff, you are a fan of that, be happy about, but don't fall for these marketing gimmicks. They are just making a fool of us as consumers. So when you're not planning to launch a specific variant or in quantities, why even release it, I would say. But that sad thing is happening, and we have seen this not with just one brand, a lot of brands these days. This is by Justin. Love your work, thank you. I wanted to ask, what's your thoughts on the upcoming Realme book? Is the i5 11th generation 111335 G7 a good processor? I'm planning to take this as my college education. AutoCAD is the main software to use. Justin, it's basically the Core i5, as I've told you. It's the new Intel 11th generation. I haven't got the laptop, so haven't used it. And I read somewhere this laptop actually got Evo rating from Intel, and to get that Evo rating, it's not that easy. Intel does not give that Evo rating to all the laptops. So that means, at least in battery life and other aspects, it will be actually really, really good. But again, it's an i5 processor, so it's a mid-range processor. They haven't launched the i7 variant or something. I wished, instead of going with the Intel Core i5 11th generation, they should have gone with the Ryzen 5500 or something like that. I feel that would have been a lot better in the raw processing power. But nevertheless, for regular stuff, unless you're doing some very hardcore stuff, the Core i5 would be okay. But again, I have to test the laptop to see how it does. I haven't got it yet. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Sravan. Is fast charger usage which we get in the mobile really good for batteries on the long run, as most of the brands are providing fast chargers instead of normal chargers? Just curious to know its effect on the battery. Yes, and on this days, most of the smartphones are giving fast chargers like 25 watt, 30, 60, like 65 watt, etc. And I feel it's good if you are in a hurry to charge your phone. Let's say you forgot charging the phone, you have to go out, you have just 25 minutes. This is having that super fast chargers like 30 watt, 60 watt really helps in that time, because in 20-25 minutes you get a good top up. But for overnight charging, I do not like these fast chargers. In fact, I personally actually do not use the fast chargers to charge my mobiles. Generally, I charge my mobiles that I test at night before sleeping. And guess what? I generally never use those fast chargers. I charge it with I have a charging hub that is pretty old. And the output of that is 5 volts at 2 amps. So it's just a 10 watt charger. And I charge it by that. And I don't mind. Oops, I'm getting a call. I have to just disconnect that. Okay. And I don't mind it, because at night, I don't care if it charges in 50 minutes or it takes 2.5 hours. But I know by slow charging, I'm not putting that much strain on the battery. So personally, I would say I like fast chargers, but I don't use the fast chargers on a regular basis, I would say. So that's what I personally do. And I like that some of the providers, for example, Asus does that. Though Asus will provide a fast charger, I think so it's the 30 watt charger or whatever. I'm not recalling on the ROG Phone 5. But if you go in the battery profile, they do have an option of overnight charging. So even though the charger supplied is a fast charger, it does not charge it very quickly. It acts like a slow, steady charger. So I hope this feature other OEMs also provide, because definitely I would say if you continuously do fast charging, the battery will degrade a little bit quicker than normal. Again, whatever marketing gimmicks these guys want to say, but that's the truth. Anyways, let's move to the next one. Anyways, this is by Raghavendra. He says, I'm having a Asus AX3000 router and I've just disabled the Wi-Fi on my Airtel router. Is it effective, or should I enable bridge mode in the Airtel router? If you do not use the bridge mode, you can use it like that. For example, if you have a Jio connection, you have to do that, because Jio does not allow you bridge connection. But as you're having an Airtel fiber, you told, Airtel does allow you to enable bridge mode. You have to call their call center to enable it. So I would suggest just call their call center and tell them to enable bridge mode and use it like that, because right now what is happening is you are having the double NAT, because though you have disabled the Wi-Fi, the Airtel router is doing the routing, then still it's going to your Asus router, and again there also it's running its own DHCP server, so it's like a double NAT. So to avoid that, use it in the bridge mode. So guys, these were the questions for this tech Q&A session. I know this went a little bit long. Do let me know if you're okay with this one, because I just wanted to cover all the points. But guys, stay tuned. A lot of stuff is coming. A lot of reviews will be coming out very soon. So if you are still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, do follow me on Twitter at @Geekyranjit. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.